and welcome to Roy Lichtenstein, Monet's Garden Goes Pop. I'm Jennifer Romanecki, President and CEO of Marie Selby Botanical Gardens. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this exhibition, where Lichtenstein's interpretation of Claude Monet's famous garden and home at Giverny in France come to life in our tropical garden with a surprising pop art twist. On generous loan from collections across the country, Roy Lichtenstein's rarely seen and monumental water lilies and haystacks inform 10 distinct garden vignettes. First, you'll encounter our tropical conservatory, where Monet's home and garden are recomposed with Lichtenstein's signature Vendée dots and flat planes of color. Throughout the gardens, you'll experience designs inspired by Monet's famed floral gardens, playfully embellished through the lens of Lichtenstein's signature pop art style. From the koi pond to the great lawn and along the bay, look out for Monet's green arbors and benches, as well as his iconic Japanese footbridge. Lichtenstein's extraordinary artworks on view in the Museum of Botany and the Arts are accompanied by historical photographs of both Lichtenstein and Monet. They paint a picture of the artists, their relationship to nature, and their shared desire to create multiple views of the same subjects in completely unexpected ways. This exhibition is Selby Gardens' take on Lichtenstein's take on Monet's take on his own garden and home at Giverny. I hope you enjoy Roy Lichtenstein, Monet's Garden Goes Pop.
Hello, I'm Carol Achman, Curator-at-Large of Marie Selby Botanical Gardens. Pop artist Roy Lichtenstein made his name in the 1960s by transforming images of cultural icons like Mickey Mouse and American advertising into high art. Yet he was fascinated by landscapes and the popular art form of Impressionism. In the 1960s, he also radically reimagined Monet's paintings. Reflecting on the screen prints these inspired, Lichtenstein once said, "I realized everyone would think that Monet was someone I could never do because his work has no outlines and it's so impressionistic. So I smiled at the idea of a mechanical Monet." In the glass house and throughout the gardens, we encounter the signature style that characterizes Lichtenstein's manufactured Monets. Prepare to be dazzled by the pop artist's Vendée dots, indebted to printer's techniques, and notice his diagonal lines, thick black outlines, and flat planes of commercial colors. As you enter the conservatory, umbrella trellises of Vanda orchids lead to a green garden gate, much as they do in Monet's garden, but they've gone pop. Walk through the Janus-faced arch, one side inspired by Lichtenstein's commercial style, the other by Monet's more organic one. You'll find Monet's pink house, flattened except for three-dimensional windows and doors. And yes, there's the pond. Made of Rolux, a reflective material Lichtenstein used in the 1960s, it sprouts both living plants and custom-made Lichtensteinian water lilies. It's crowned by the first of several versions you will see of Monet's famous green bridge at Giverny. Of his water garden, Monet observed, "One does not fully appreciate a landscape in one day, and suddenly I had a revelation of the magic of my pond." Contemplate the magic of our koi pond, whose denizens now swim amidst vibrant cutout water lilies a la Lichtenstein. Above it arches Monet's green bridge, based on Utagawa Hiroshige's woodblock print in Monet's own collection. Here it's flattened to evoke Lichtenstein's style. Ornamented with wisteria, the bridge at Giverny overlooks Monet's lily pond. Monet filled it with water lily hybrids. Novel at the time, they were a cross between the white-flowered European lily and species with yellow, pink, and red flowers from America, Scandinavia, and Asia. Monet also planted colorful lotuses, cattails, and arrowheads. His renowned paintings of water lilies are unthinkable without his water garden. Take a moment to observe the darting movements of the koi the reflections of plants both above and below the water, the movement of the clouds and the iconic bridge. The experience is not unlike looking at Monet's pond or the artworks he and Lichtenstein made inspired by it. Behold the Lichtensteinian haystacks that have rooted themselves amidst grasses that sway in the breeze. Watch how they change with the light and weather. Monet's central task was representing them in his series of paintings titled Haystacks, now called Grade Stacks. Lichtenstein's screen prints are given a new form here. They create movement not through textured, personalized brushstrokes as Monet's paintings do, but through the seemingly mechanized application of Ben-Day dots used by printers. In both artists' works, the grain stack's monumentality in relation to the surrounding landscape or page suggests timeless agrarian abundance. Explore our petite version of the 38 paintbox plantings 5 feet by 2.5 feet each in Monet's flower garden. Mixing blossoms as he did pigments, the Impressionists created monochromatic and polychromatic beds. Some coupled hues found opposite one another on the color wheel to make the colors of the flowers pop. To unify the whole, Monet edged the paintbox gardens with soft purple ground cover and lavender. Not only did the paintbox plantings provide cut flowers for Monet's home, these experiments with color and light were also the fodder for future paintings. The artist's departure from formal garden structure freed him to explore color harmonies and combinations in his plantings. Our gardeners have built raised beds filled with flowers that burst with color, using curved yet industrial materials, an homage to Lichtenstein. Monet's house and garden embody his lifelong passion for gardening as well as his increasing wealth and stature as an artist. Here, we have decorated his home with red printer's dots. When seen from a distance, they evoke the pink stucco surface of his actual home. Note how the repeated use of Monet's signature green in the shutters, trellises, and benches unites the whole. As you peruse the lush flower beds, imagine a life spent at home in such a garden. Walk across our green footbridge, backed by Lichtenstein-inspired willow trees and inspired by the footbridge Monet built at Giverny in 1905. It is an integral part of the 2-acre water garden he developed over the course of 17 years. Soon you'll reach our rendering of Monet's arbor, beautifully sited along the bay. Our series of arches, overgrown with Mexican flame vine and hyacinth bean, remind us of the arches in his garden. Pairs of flat faux terracotta pots in Lichtenstein style anchor each arch. Don't miss the clusters of kaleidoscopic flowers bordering the pathway. Variety like this, which we take for granted today, was a new phenomenon in Monet's time, a period of exploration that one scholar dubbed the golden age of plants. The Impressionists avidly collected water lilies, irises, dahlias, roses, ferns, and other exotic plants. In addition, the 1858 opening of trade between Japan and France enabled Monet to collect prints like the one inspiring his own Japanese bridge. The tidal lagoon comes alive with whimsical striped lily pads among native ferns, grasses, and trees. Here, as in the Water Lily series by both Monet and Lichtenstein, reflections confound what we're seeing in the pond and what is around and above it. Installed as part of a shoreline restoration project begun in 1997, the lagoon now boasts a variety of Florida native species and their habitats. Notice the freshwater marsh and hardwood hammock, home to a variety of wildlife, including birds like egret, heron, and osprey. Our avian friends activate the movement of light, wind, and clouds. Reproductions of historic photographs of Lichtenstein, his family, friends, and studios introduce us to the person behind his industrial technique. A native New Yorker, Lichtenstein attended Ohio State University, served overseas in the Army, and became an art professor. In the early 1960s, his maverick works, inspired by comics and ads, made him part of the pop pantheon, which included Claes Oldenburg, James Rosenquist, and Andy Warhol. Yet it was his homages to world-famous artists like Monet that cinched Lichtenstein's reputation. When you enter the central hallway, you'll find reproductions of archival photographs of Monet's property at Giverny, a small rural town 45 miles northwest of Paris. He rented the pink stucco house and purchased it in 1890, creating a 3-acre flower garden and 2-acre water garden. This garden includes the famous footbridge, modeled on the Utagawa Hiroshige woodblock print in Monet's private collection. From 1891 until his death in 1926, the Impressionist par excellence made his celebrated series paintings, including grain stacks and water lilies. You'll also see photographs of Lichtenstein in Paris during World War II and for his first gallery exhibition there in 1965. He visited Giverny and Monet's water lilies paintings at the Orangerie in Paris twice. Lichtenstein's shared commitment to working in series and his long-standing exploration of landscape prompted his Monet-inspired works, including the print cycles you are about to see in the North Gallery. 3 Haystacks green prints by Lichtenstein greet you as you enter the North Gallery. In 1968 and 1969, Lichtenstein made 2 Haystack series evoking Monet's compositions. In place of Monet's soft, evocative brushwork in the double grain stacks, Lichtenstein covers the entire surface with primary-hued mechanical dots. In the single haystack, he adopts flat planes of undifferentiated color, relegating repetitive dots to the background. Both artists use technique and composition to emphasize flatness, often bringing the image to the verge of abstraction. Explore Lichtenstein's last series based on Monet in 4 additional works, the monumental Water Lilies of 1992. He incorporates Monet's luscious pastels, but denies the tactile and seductive qualities that define Impressionism. Verticals and horizontals alternate between recognizable elements like tree trunks and foliage, and zones of dots, diagonal lines, and color. Lichtenstein's small preparatory drawing, Water Lilies with Japanese Bridge, gives us a rare opportunity to see the artist's hand and to compare the study to the final version. While Monet's installation of water lilies in the Orangerie in Paris surrounds viewers, putting them in the pond, so to speak, Lichtenstein goes a step further. Applying a technique called spotting or swirling to metallic enamel, he includes viewers' reflections in the pond. Just outside the museum, seek out our Grande Allée. It leads from the main entrance of the Payne Mansion through our lively butterfly garden. It's modeled on Monet's Allée, which extends from the front door of the pink house to the green gated entrance. Don't miss the Lichtenstein-like wisteria festooning our archway. As in the arbor along the bay and the procession of trellises in the Conservatory, our Grande Allée makes use of Monet's rectangular elements. Monet's garden, like ours, rhymes these with free-form shapes, including the water garden, curving pathways, and a variety of flower beds. At Selby, the green arbor and gate invite you to sit and smell the proverbial roses. Your work is done.